Okay. So if you could all send those, I want to watch all of those next week. We'll have some laughs. When I did this class, we will. When I did this class in Salt Lake last year, three of the agents, Annie, Lizzie, and Chris, got together and they went out to a model home, and they did a parody on my presentation. I thought it was flipping hysterical. And there was, we sell the shit out of your home. So they said that several times. We sell the shit out of your home. They had people sitting in the bathtub talking about something and say, we sell the shit out of your home. It was just, and I love that because they got to have fun with it. Not that it's going anywhere other than I made them send it to me so I could watch it again. I thought it was so funny. But it got them comfortable. So going with three people like Courtney did, 3 or 4 people, you laugh at it. There's no bad mistakes. It's like, oh, that was terrible. Let's do that one. I mean, who cares? It costs us how much to do this? Nothing. Okay? So find a couple of people. Preferably you need at least one man, at least one woman, and then it doesn't matter multiples of how many. Just because you typically will do like a husband and wife, maybe sitting at a table, just kind of going through as a background shot type of thing. You need them to be somebody greeting you as a seller coming in the door, that kind of thing. So everybody can take different roles and do that. And then you'll take a role and somebody will copy. So today we're going through the documentation. So if you don't have it, grab a copy. They're on the back table back there, and I've got some in the front table. So I'm throwing this to you. Thank you. Pass that down. Next week, to your right. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. So next week we'll be doing scripting and objection handling. That'll be our last week. So I probably won't let you stay next week for the scripting and the objection handling if you don't have a video. That's the price of admission next week. So it can be a really bad video. I don't care. But everybody this week's going to go do videos. Committed? Yes. Okay, good. Committed? Okay. Okay, committed?
If you need any help, like putting it together, and it doesn't need to be edited probably too fancy, but if you need help, come to my office hours, Tuesdays, Thursdays, 3 to 4, and I can sit down and walk through it with you. Okay?
Can you edit?
Oh.
I won't edit it for you, but I'll just quickly show you how to put it together. I don't think it's going to take much effort.
So there.
Attach an outro to it?
Attach an outro?
Yeah.
I'll help you the best I can, but I won't do it for you, that's for sure.
I don't know what an outro is.
Give an intro and an outro. It's like sometimes when they're doing a video, they'll have a promo about themselves, and then at the very end they'll do another promo, kind of like summarizing it out. So.
Well, you should make sure when you do your videos, you do both of those. Then you can just link them together, edit them together. Yeah. Okay. All right. By the way, how many listings are available today along the Wasatch Front for homeowners? About 9,600. 9,600, which is an uptick. There were about 250 listings taken last week. So I was reviewing my numbers this morning and thought, boy, our timing is good on this class. You guys just need to get out and start taking some listings. Start making some phone calls, start meeting some people, because this is listing season, which is a little later than normal for a big surge. So usually we start in April, and it's just seeming like it's getting, the last 3 weeks, every week's gotten better and better and better. So get out and do your part. Okay, so remember my packet where I've got all of my documents that I write all my stuff about the client. I had Nicole at your front desk help me this morning and make copies so that as we are going through these documents, you can see what I'm talking about, since you're not all able to sit directly across from me. These are in the order in which I do them. Except I think I've got a couple at the end here. Let me pull this out. And they are two-sided, so just to save money in copies, we did it that way. Okay, so name and name. Scarlett Taylor. Okay, so I'll just, we've got right here. Yep. And they're on the back table also. Okay. Okay. So, and I will come next week at 9:30. Today I came at 9, but only one of you decided you wanted help. Thank you. So next week I'll be coming at 9:30. So half an hour. So if anybody wants me to look at their presentation and give them feedback, that would be your 30-minute opportunity. Okay. So we've gone through the listing presentation. So Scarlett Taylor, now that we've agreed on price, should we get the ball rolling?
Yeah.
Yes? Okay, great. So we just need to do some documentation so that you're authorizing me to go to work for you, okay? So let's go through all that. So the first thing I want to talk to you about are the addendums to the state approved form, the listing form. And the first one is an addendum that says, if you change your mind and decide not to sell, or you decide you don't like working with me, or you just get a B in your baseball cap, you can cancel at any time and you owe me nothing. Okay? Just sign right there and date. Okay?
Have you had anybody ever call you on that?
No, I don't know that don't know that anybody has. I can recall firing somebody, but I can't remember somebody firing me.
Yeah. Obviously, once you're under contract.
Yes, yeah, then that contract supersedes this contract. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, I mean, it's just a great peace of mind. They know they're not stuck with me forever. Okay. And so it is the very first one I open with because I want them to understand this is voluntary and it doesn't have to be for life. Okay. All right. We're going to try not to stop at the end of each page, though. I'm just going to stay in my normal flow and go through it. And then if we have questions or comments, let's talk about it at the end. Okay. So next one is our flexible commission rate. So as I think we mentioned earlier when we were talking about pricing, if a realtor outside of the Stern team, and there's like 13,000 of them, sells it, then it's going to be a 6% commission. And I'm going to share 3% of that with the buyer's agent. And I'll tell you why we want to do that. There is nothing scarier than a buyer running around unrepresented. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know. Think about this. When you all bought this house, how did you know what inspector to use? Lender? Yeah, home warranty company. How to get into the house, how to negotiate that. None of that, right? So you counted on your realtor to do that for you, correct? Good. That's what we want, is somebody who's going to come to the table and knows that these people qualify, that they can move forward, that this house is a perfect match for them, rather than the idiot on the loose. So I'm going to share half of my commission with them. Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Great. I'm going to have you initial in just a few minutes about that. But if somebody sells it, not on my team, it's a 6% commission. If one of my team members, and I've got about 9 buyer's agents on my team, if one of them brings the buyer, then it's going to be a 5%. I'm going to give them still 3, and I'm going to take 2. That's how important it is that they have representation. And if you find the buyer and they're not represented, then it's 2%. So be on my team. Let's talk about this. Put it on Facebook. Tell the neighbors. Who do they know? They come without a realtor and they come because of you. It's 2%. This happens to me almost every month. So be on the team. How you're going to do that is when you meet somebody or hear of somebody, you're going to call me with their name and number. So I register them as yours. And they're going to want to come in early. You're going to blame me and say, no, you may not come in early, but give me your name and number and Leah'll arrange a private showing. Challenge you have is with me bringing somebody in early or you bringing somebody in early, if they love the house, they'll write an offer. The first offer is normally your lowest offer. So let's not, okay? Let's make them all compete, all want it at the same time, try to get you the best price. Because I remember, Taylor, that was the thing that was number one for you, was the best price, right? Okay. We agreed to that. So I think of it like a good marriage. If they come and want to come in, I'm going to blame you and say, oh, they're just not ready. And if you have somebody come to you and wants to come in, you go, oh, I wish I could, but my realtor won't let me. So we'll just be like a marriage and blame each other, okay? Nobody gets in early. Deal? Yes? Yes? Okay. Perfect. And then I do charge a $400 marketing fee at closing. If it doesn't close, you'll never pay it. But if you'll initial right there and then sign down below, you notice I've already signed that one. Okay. All right. Next one is an addendum that we had to design years ago. Years ago, I was paying thousands of dollars a month because the MLS has a really, I think, faulty rule. So their rule to all realtors is this. If you list a house, you have 4 days to get it on the MLS. Well, we already know you're like 2 weeks away from even having ready for pictures, right? Based on the list of things that you're going to do to get the house ready. So we put it on without pictures, then people assume something's wrong with the house. Otherwise, you'd have pictures, right? So I don't want it on the MLS till it's perfect. Okay, so I met with the new president when he first became president of the MLS. The first week he was here, poor guy, got stuck with me for lunch, I bought, and said, this doesn't serve my sellers well. It serves the buyer, but it doesn't serve the seller. And the only person I represent is the seller. And he said, well, they've got it that way so people don't two-side the deals. And I said, go back 10 years on my sales. I will not have double-sided a single deal. I refuse to do it. Not that it's illegal, I just won't do it. This is because it's in the best interest of my seller. He'll get a better price if the pictures are there and all of that. So he agreed to a compromise with me. And the compromise is this addendum. So I have to tell him when we're doing photos. I have to tell him what date we're going on the MLS. So for example, I have photos being done on 2 listings today, Monday. Both those listings are going on the MLS Wednesday. Both those listings are having grand opening on Saturday, and both of those listings are looking at offers next Tuesday. And all those dates are written in here, and we decided that 30 days ago. So if you'll just sign that, we're going to do it the way that benefits you, okay? This next one is, again, kind of the MLS's addendum that simply says I'm not going to put it on the MLS until Wednesday the 19th. So I filled that in, sign at the bottom. So these are the addendums that supersede the state approved form. So let's go through the state approved form, okay? So exclusive right to sell and agency disclosure is between my company and you, okay? The term of the listing includes myself, and you'll also see Mike Walters listed. Mike is our director of operations. That's so if I'm out of town or unavailable, you still have somebody representing you. So know that on the Stern team, you have myself and Mike. All the other agents are probably representing buyers on my team. And every other realtor coming in is representing buyers. So you just have the 2 of us, okay? I list for 6 months, so we won't be on the market 6 months, but that's why we've got an expiration date of December 15th, and the property address is there. So under brokerage fee, we talked about that a few minutes ago. You'll notice I wrote in there C addendum. Rather than putting an amount, I wrote C addendum because I don't know if it's going to be a 6, a 5, or a 2. Okay, on paragraph 2. And then notice in the second paragraph of 2, I've said that you are willing to allow me to share 3% of the commission with the buyer's agent. Okay? You'll just initial right below that paragraph. Okay. Protection period says if we go under contract, and we list the property, and then a month from now you change your mind and decide not to sell, decide to keep the house. If somebody comes in within 3 months of that I showed while I had it listed, you'd owe me a commission because I put 3 months, and it's a protection period. It can happen. Transfer doesn't come through, and then suddenly you go, you know what? I don't like this house anymore. Let's move anyways. Okay? All right. So that's what the protection period is. The seller's disclosure is my way of saying thank you for doing your homework and filling out that seller's property disclosure that probably took you 45 minutes to an hour and answered everything you knew about the house. So I appreciate very much you doing that. We'll look at that in just a minute, make sure we have all the initials correctly. Okay. Paragraph 5 talks about agency. So as I explained to you, the only horse I have in the race is you. I will not be representing a buyer on your home. Now, that doesn't mean that limited agency is a bad thing. Limited agency is where you represent both sides. Lots of people do it. It is legal to do. It's just a personal choice. I don't do it. But my broker could. So, for example, if it's my listing and I'm representing you, and Courtney from my office, not even on my team, but just from my office, brings a buyer in, it's the perfect house for them. She'll represent those buyers, but we both work for this guy by the name of Dean. He's our broker. Dean would have to be neutral, third party, limited agency, trying to represent both. You'll probably never meet Dean. He's a good guy, but you'll probably never meet him. Okay? All right. Professional advice, paragraph 6. I know a lot of things about real estate, but there are certainly some things I don't. I'm not a roofing expert. There are times that people ask me a question and I've got to call my CPA. So if it's outside of my scope of knowledge, I'm not going to guess, but I will help you find a good resource if we need a good resource. Okay? Paragraph 7 of the state approved form says, if you and I get sideways with each other, we'll try to work it out. And paragraph 8 said if we didn't work it out and we went to court, the losing party would pay the attorney's fees. But truthfully, if we got sideways, you'd fire me. You have a cancellation agreement. So that's why we have the cancellation agreement, so that you never have to worry about 7 and 8. Okay? All right. Paragraph 9, you're authorizing me to advertise this house every place I think I should, and then some, to leave no rock unturned, correct? All right. Paragraph 9, we are using the county records as the verifiable source for the square footage, unless you tell me you have an old appraisal, in which case I'm happy to do that. Most of the time, the county records are correct. It feels like it's correct. Okay? All right. You're also authorizing me to get the preliminary title report and other documents that we're going to need for disclosure, including the seller's disclosures that you're giving me. Personal property means anything attached to the house. So the ceiling fan over our head, that's screwed in. You can't take it. If you want it, tell me now and replace it before we go live on the market. Okay? I didn't see anything walking through that might be something you would be thinking to take. Can you think of anything that you were wanting to take that is currently attached to the house?
Maybe the TV
Mm.
or the speakers.
So, Scarlett, that's a great question. So the TV absolutely is personal property, but the TV mount that you have it on, don't take it. You're not allowed to. In the fine print, it says stays. Okay? The speakers could go, but again, I would suggest if you're going to really take them down before we take pictures. Technology has changed enough that you may want to just get new speakers at the new house to fit that space.
What about our drapes?
So the drapes stay unless you specifically exclude them. They would stay, blinds stay, shutters stay. And again, window sizes vary from house to house, decor and color. You may be going from this color here to the new house will be something else. So rarely, occasionally you get somebody whose bedspread matches a curtain. Is there something you wanted to take?
Well, I custom made those curtains, so in the bedroom,
Probably why they look so lovely.
and also, what about our shower curtain?
You could take that.
I can take that.
Yeah.
Okay, what about if I have some,
But by the way, you can't take the pole if it's screwed in because it's attached. If it's,
so if I have like decor that is screwed into the wall, like
Mhm.
I have this belt that,
Mhm.
it's like a sailor's belt
Mhm.
that I have in the bathroom. I have to.
ahoy matey, I'd take it down.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. If it's attached,
Yeah.
consider it staying.
Okay.
So if you want to take it down, patch it. I'll talk to you about patching. So buy the little thing of,
Putty.
not even putty. Anyways, the putty-like stuff has a different name. And then I want you to buy a kitchen sponge and if you have extra paint, great. If you don't, you're going to need to match it. Just buy the little can of paint. So sponge, wet, wring it out, and then tap the sponge into the paint and just tap the whole spot. It's the only way you can not see strokes,
Right.
brush strokes, foam strokes, roller, all these marks, but the sponge, you'll never see where you made a tap it on. Yeah. Fan it out,
So
works
what
great.
about mirrors?
We're not going to cover all this. This is not an objection handling moment. So I think we've
I'm just-
covered and made the
yeah, okay.
purpose enough. There are attachments to this agreement. You sign those first. I call those addendums. So you'll notice I checked yes. You're not a foreigner, nor you're moving the money to a foreign country. So I checked is not. So you'll initial and sign at the bottom of each page. Electronic signatures on paragraph 14 are legal. We probably will do some of that addendum wise. So know that I'll help you through that. We're not having somebody assume your loan, so we don't have to worry about a due on sale clause. This is the entire agreement. Everything we do, we will do in writing, always. And the effective date is today. And you are the authorized signer. So if you'll sign right there, I don't need your addresses or phone numbers since I have those, but sign and date and initial at the bottom. Okay. The next addendum is to let you know that Keller Williams does have a relationship with my title company that I prefer, and that's Real Advantage Title. And so you're okay with us using them. They're located here in our building. It's honestly very convenient for me. So if you'll initial right here and sign right there, I'd appreciate it. Are you aware of any lead-based paint in the house? I mean, this is a 1969. Okay, so I'm going to check. Seller has no knowledge. And then do you have any records about lead-based paint? Probably not if you don't know about it. So I'm going to check that. So if you'll just sign at the bottom there, and I will also sign this one. Okay. Next one is the wire fraud alert. If you'd raise your right hand and solemnly swear that you will never, ever, ever wire money based on an email alone, so help me, Lee. Okay, thank you. Loan fraud is happening all the time, and it's wire fraud most of the time. And once you email the money, it can look like a real email, and hackers and scammers have followed your email or my email or your lender's email or the title company's email or the other agent's email, the buyer's email, and they will send one that looks real. So if you get one saying it's time to wire money, you call whoever it looks like it came from and you verify. One, they sent it, and two, what the routing number was. Because if you send it and push the button, you may never get it back, period. Okay? Deal? Okay. All right. So there are 3 ways the seller can handle offers. And let's talk about those on the multiple offer disclosure. The first way is the way that most people do it. And that is I get an offer, I bring it to you, and you accept, decline, or counter. We're not doing that. Second way is one that I just think is crazy, and that says that you can counter two offers, identical offers, identically, and the fastest responder wins. Two offers are never identical. One is a stronger buyer than the other. There'll be something that makes one better than the other. So I've never had that happen in all these years. And the third way is the way we're doing it. And that's where you've said, Lee, we'd like to look at all the offers at the same time on that Tuesday after the grand opening. That way we can maybe get us into a multiple offer bidding war situation. Right now, about 30% of the time. Are we still in agreement that that's how we want to do that? So again, Taylor, we're getting best opportunity to get the highest price for you. Okay? All right, you'll sign that. And then this notice of multiple offers, this is the form I actually use when indeed I get multiple offers. I send each of the agents that, and I give them a chance, 24 hours, to do a do-over and give us their highest and best and make it better. Okay? Okay, perfect. I'll need your signature on that. Okay? All right, let's take a quick break. That's your packet. Now, any questions or comments that you have? Rob.
You know, we're in a day and age where with all the stuff online, people are always clicking things and never reading the terms and conditions
Right.
and stuff like that.
Right.
And I think this idea that you're going through and explaining very briefly not only creates transparency and knowledge for them, but it also endears them that you're going to, you know, you're not trying to slip something in or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it very much is a leading contention often in lawsuits around the country that our agent didn't cover stuff. And I've never had that problem, but as you read through different lawsuits, it is a prevailing line of thinking, including with this settlement, the July thing, as my client calls it, that nobody disclosed this to them. And I do the same thing when it's time for offers. So when we get offers, if I get offers, I will never send anything to, well, actually, not just in offers, in anything. I never send anything to a seller that's in a signable format before I send the sign. I send them a non-signable format first. Then they have to call me and say, okay, I've got it. I've read it. Now what? Oh, okay, now I'll send it to you to sign. So they always get it in a format that they cannot sign. And they'll call me and say, I can't sign this. I can't sign this. I'm like, yep, I know. Let's talk about this. I always want that happening. It's why with my forms on this NAR settlement that I shook my head and went, wow, this really, honestly, other than having to ask a fourth question when I call the listing agent, it doesn't change the way I do business at all. Because I've always had my sellers have to initial that they're willing to pay, let me share my commission with the other side and how much and what the value of that other agent was. I've always had that discussion. So other than the fact that it's not going to be showing on the MLS, which by the way, commercial agents, they've never shown theirs. Never been on an MLS. So it's not that unusual. And we're lucky because we've always, well, since 92, had buyer agents and seller agents. 39 of the states didn't have any buyer agency. So I imagine for them, it's really strange. But for us, if you've been doing it this way, it's like virtually no change for us. Get over it and move on. This is nothing. And I do think it is up to the listing agents to share what the value is of an agent having their own representative. I want to thank you, Scarlett, for taking time to fill out this seller's property disclosure. Let's make sure we've got initials at the bottom of every page. And then that last page where it has the stupid in the middle of the page signature. No, you've signed in the right spot. Oh, you did. You are so good. Thank you so much. We'll be sharing that with all buyers. Um, then I want to remind you, we talked about this earlier in the marketing. I'm going to leave this sheet with you. So I am going to put a home warranty that covers these items for you on the listing. So if something breaks in your house right now, between now and the time we close, I want you to call me rather than a repairman. And let's see if it fits there in this. Like if your air conditioner went out, they'll come and fix it. So it's not costing you money. If we get a leak under the sink, they'll come and fix it. So if you have those kinds of system breakdowns, will you promise to call me before you call a repairman?
And who pays for that? You or me?
I do.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'll cover this. Okay. I've even got some, typically it's like a $70 service fee, but I think I even have some coupons for that. So it would cost you nothing. Okay. All right. So then the other thing I wanted to talk to you about is our promise. On the Stern team, we have this thing that we call our promise. And that is to make this transaction as smooth and good as it can possibly be for you. All of the systems that we use, all the people on the team, everything is designed on delivering on that promise to make it as stress-free as possible for you. How does that sound? Okay, now it's real estate, so people are involved. So that doesn't mean that we won't sometimes have challenges, but my goal is to get ahead of those challenges and just keep it as smooth as possible. Okay? Now, I have to tell you, I have a second goal, and it's a selfish goal. I'm hoping that the end of our working together, you're going to feel so good about working with me and choosing to work with me that you're going to want to never let anybody that you know and care about use anybody other than me. And that you'll be referring people to me and giving me rave reviews and all of that. And I'm actually going to ask you about it as we go along the way. But if we get to closing and you haven't referred somebody to me, I'm going to have the tough conversation. And the tough conversation is going to be, what could I or my team have done better to have earned those referrals? And I hate that conversation. So I'm hoping you'll send me a referral before that. Okay? Cool. Excellent. And then I have them sign that. That's a document that we do. Okay? All right. So we can get the ball rolling. I'm going to get the sign. Now we're done. That's my presentation documents. Okay? So tell me the ahas on watching that happen. Maybe it's different, how it's different from how you've done it, or just ahas. And if you had none, I'm going to be doing a bad job.
No, I think asking for a referral is something that we should all be doing here.
Mhm.
And you have a very simple, logical way of doing it because you've kind of laid it up and set the stage here, like
Mhm.
that you cover everything,
Mhm.
and that you expect a 5-star review,
Mhm.
at the end of closing, and that I've heard some of them that actually want a referral by the end of closing.
Mhm. That's what I would like to. The most likely time to give you a referral is while they're in the process, because it's all they're talking about and thinking about. And suddenly, it's that reticular activator. If you're talking about it, suddenly you got other people around you who are also talking about it. And so they are more likely to run into somebody who wants to buy or sell while they're in the process of buying or selling.
Yeah. It's like when you buy a white truck,
Everybody's driving that same white truck. Yeah.
So,
Can you restate your referral question? Your second goal, the whole thing?
Oh, sure. By the way, our promise script, I can read it to you, then I know we're saying it right. Let's see how I did in my paraphrasing, because I don't ever read it. I always paraphrase it. But let's read it, and there you go. Yeah, it's actually a form that I have them sign at the bottom. So I'll read it to you. So our promise. Our group is dedicated to providing an outstanding experience tailored to your needs. We're focused on staying ahead of any challenges and ensuring a seamless and exceptional 10+ experience for you. Our goal is not just to meet expectations, but to exceed them. Now, here's a friendly request. From now until the day we close on your home, we hope you'll feel so positive about our service that you'll recommend us to anyone in need of real estate assistance. Along with spreading the word, please take a moment to call, text, or email me their information. This guarantees a 100% chance that I can help them. Your support ensures we fulfill our promise and we approach the closing date. I look forward to celebrating a successful journey with you. Can we agree that I have to meet or exceed in delivering a 10 plus experience for you, that you'll help to support my business by making sure to call, text, or email me with the name or numbers, somebody I can help in real estate. So that's way wordier, I feel like, than what I say. But so I've just paraphrased it. The promise script you should be able to find online by going to Keller Williams. Mike Hicks, it's his script. It's better than the one I just read you, and it's very similar to what I said when I was off the cuff. Mike Hicks is a KW agent in Idaho Falls. He and his team of about 5 people control 40% of the market share in Idaho Falls. Not his office. His little team of, I think, 5 control 40%. And he delivers the promise script. He acts on the promise script. And by the way, and yeah, Mike has come up and spent time with us on the Stern team. He's just a great guy. But it's lots of people are using Mike's promise script, and I recommend it. And then when I send an email saying, hey, good news, we're on the MLS, please check to make sure that, will you please check the MLS printout, make sure we didn't have any errors. I get a copy of that. That's my signal to call and say, hey, Taylor, did you see I sent you a copy of the MLS? Did it look good, or did I have a fat finger moment? Nothing? Okay, good. So have you thought of anybody I should be helping yet?
Yeah, cousin that probably.
I would love to help your family. Oh my gosh. I love being the family realtor. Okay. So again, now next time it's like the inspection's been, or we've got an offer. That's another good news call. We're having the inspections been scheduled. That's a good news call. The appraiser's coming out. That's a good news call. Closing has been set up. That's a good news call. So all of those good news calls, when they get the email that tells them that, then I make the phone call saying, hey, did I give you the address that we're meeting for the closing or whatever it is? And then, by the way, have you thought about who I should be helping next? And when I get to the closing table, I ask them again, but how I word it at the closing table is I always say to them, so by this afternoon, it'll have funded and recorded, and I'll be unemployed. Have you thought about who I should be working with next? And you'd be amazed how people go, really? You'd be unemployed? Well, or they'll say, oh, you won't be unemployed. And I go, but think about all the time we've spent together, how many hours and times we talk. Who's going to take your place? You're pretty irreplaceable.
I've done that at my last 2 closings.
Yes.
Both resulted in a referral.
Thank you. Ding, ding, ding. It really does. If you ask, you receive. When you fail to ask, then don't be surprised if you don't receive. And this is an exciting time for them, and we've made it a fun, exciting time for them. And they'd love for somebody else to have the same fun, exciting time for them. And again, you do have to teach them how to do it. So I hate it when I run into my clients and go, I refer you to everybody. And I always go, oh, I love that you do, but everybody hasn't called because nobody likes calling a stranger. So when you really want me to help somebody, and I would love to help your people, I need you to call me or text me or email me. So with their name and number, there's 100% chance I can reach them because nobody wants to call a stranger. And by the way, I had 2 of those. One was a text this last week from Dick saying, hey, trying to convince my cousin that they should be think it's a cousin, should be moving to Daybreak, and I'll be sending you that referral. And I responded back about, I love working with your family. I'm hoping they're as cool as you and Tamara. And he's like, no, but they put up with me. And I said, then I'm sure I'll love you. Love them. So, I mean, we get that back and forth. Savannah, who was referred to me by Austin, who she worked with, is now referring Katie to me. Katie's on a vacation for 2 weeks. So Katie's like, really? When I get back in 2 weeks, we're going to go out. So it keeps perpetuating itself if you keep remembering to ask. Every invitation to the barbecue, every invitation, like July is our month to call for taxes, for property taxes. And so when I call and say, remember, because you're part of my VIP club, when you get your tax notice, if you think the taxes are too high, call me, because one of the services I provide free of charge is to help you protest your taxes. And so now it's on you. Call me if you need me on that one, okay? And they're like, okay. By the way, who do you know who's thinking about buying or selling real estate? Gosh, I can't think of anybody. Well, I appreciate you thinking about it. Now that I've planted the seed, can I count on you to pick up the phone and call me with their name and number so that I can be 100% sure I can help them? I'm teaching them how to send me referrals over and over and over. And if I've been in this business for decades and I'm still having to do that 4 times a year, do you think maybe you should start doing that 4 times a year? Rob?
For some of the newer agents here, she's using an open-ended question rather than a closed-ended question.
Mm-hmm.
She's never asking, do you know of anybody who's thinking about buying or selling, which is a yes or no answer. She's asking, who do you know?
Always be the owl.
Buying or selling?
Always be the owl. Who? Okay.
Do you do the same thing with buyer broker agreements that you do with
Yep.
the listing?
Yep.
You send them one that they can't sign. You explain it to them.
Yeah, we meet in person. We go through it all.
And if you
And by the way, if I have out of state people, then I'm going to have to do that. But if I don't have out of state people, then we're going to do it in person. And I have people that go, I prefer electronic. And I said, I do too. But because this is your first time doing this, or because you haven't done this for a long time, I'd like this initial one to be in person. And then from then on, I'm happy to do electronic. They don't know that I'm going to send them one of it without the signature and then send them it again with their signature. I don't need to explain that. It's just my way of protecting. It's kind of like my sellers do know for these, like the multiple offer thing, or when we get an offer, it is my policy to just not open offers. And I tell my clients, don't ask me. I'll tell you if I got an offer, but don't ask me what it's for, because I don't open them. I don't open them until that date that I've told everybody to have them in by, because it's too easy for people to assume and question whether I'm looking at them and then telling one of the girls on my team or my favorite agent in Orem or whatever what that offer is. So it has just been my policy always that we just don't open them. Okay?
I love how you accept offers on Tuesdays. I always do them on Monday, and then so Sunday we're doing so much scramble, and it's a nightmare.
And they need to get to their lenders and make sure that they can qualify. And by the way, it's the end of Tuesday, because on Tuesday I open, and then I have to get with all the lenders to find out all the confirmation information that I want before I present offers. So it's end of Tuesday. They have to be there by Tuesday morning, but my response time is until end of Tuesday because of that.
In your marketing video, the guy said you spend hundreds of thousands of dollars for ad placements. What was he talking about?
Well, first of all, I'm a bad one to ask because I don't have to do the budget. So best one to ask would be Russ Fawcett on our team. So if he comes out here, that'd be a good question to ask. So we pay, well, first of all, we have some staffing that does nothing but marketing. So that's the first one that dawns on me. There's some staffing involved in that. So for a long time, and somebody told me recently that this has changed, so maybe the case, but for a long time, whether I was selling a table or I was selling a house, I could put it on KSL free of charge. But then I had to I'd have to go back every 10 days and do that to keep it in and drop off. And that was free of charge. So it wasn't free of charge to us because we pay hundreds every month in order to post it daily every day so that we stay on that first page. So I know there's that one. I think there are some marketing things that groups that we belong to. But again, I would ask Russ because it's not my job to have to worry about it. I think it's way high, but it is legitimately all of that has been taken out and it is all marketing expenses. But
The volumes they do too. Just,
Oh, that makes sense.
yeah, when you're doing hundreds, yeah, it does. But anyway, so I don't know what it all is.
I want to make the most similar claim I truthfully can.
Yeah. But if you have staff and admin staff, those costs are legitimately if they're doing the advertising. Yes.
I missed it probably, so I'm really sorry about this from last time, but how long is your typical listing appointment, presentation, paperwork, the whole deal?
I would say 40, an hour and 45 minutes. Yeah, an hour and 45 minutes. And I come with my papers filled out, so I'm not filling them out there. I typically do not, if they didn't do their homework assignment from the video, I'm leaving them the disclosure and we'll pick them up at the end of this week, filled out, or they can scan them to me. Because that one takes a long time if you do that. And that can change based on the staging on the house. Like, I mean, honestly, for Lynette's house, when I'm walking through and there's maybe 3 hours worth of work, that one didn't take long at all. But if I've got a house where it's going to be 3 months, that's a long list and a lot of cheerleading to get them through that. Yeah. Okay. All right, guys. Next week, what happens? Yep. That's how you get into class next week. You do a video. I don't care if it's good or bad, silly or fun. Mostly, I need you to get over your fear of doing videos and see how simple they are because it is going to be helping you in your business. And then we will do scripts and objection handling next week. Okay? And then we're done. One more.
she uses a method for objection handling. It's one of the best I've ever seen in the industry. It's the old Wickman stuff, right?
Which one?
Floyd Wickman stuff.
Well, I know Floyd. Which one?
Well, I mean the 6 points of
Oh,
following up.
okay. Yeah.
How you handle it.
Well, I hope so. But yeah, I use a lot of Floyd stuff. So that's good.
But I mean, it's hands down some of the best I've ever seen.
Absolutely is. Yeah, absolutely is. Okay, guys. There's something else. You all could do me a favor. And that is, I would love. I can turn this off. We're done. I would love it if you guys wrote me a review. By the way, don't all write it today. So somebody write one today. Somebody write one tomorrow. Ahas about me as an instructor is fine. Real estate expert is fine, whatever. But if you go to Google and type in the Stern Team and write me a review, I am always looking for good reviews. And my challenge is this. My clients are mostly my age and older. So when I ask them to Google review, they go, I don't have that app. They don't. I can write you one, but you have to be able to do it on a different phone. You can't do it. I can't make a copy of that and do it legitimately. So on my team, I always get the least reviews because my people are too old to write reviews and don't know how. So it's really bad. So I thought, I'm going to ask you guys. So anyways, that's my ask. If you get a chance, do it. But don't all do it today, please.